I am very excited to put this review out. There is just so much that could be talked about. All right, let's go. This is Silent Hill F. Don't go away. So here's a surprise. As someone who's covered a lot of survival horror in my time and, played Resident Evil growing up, I've never ever played a Silent Hill game.
Are you kidding?
Listen, I don't have anything against the franchise, but growing up, I had the GameCube, where Resident Evil was. And Silent Hill wasn't on the GameCube. Of course, that's not a total end-all be-all excuse because I've had modern consoles for a while, but for some reason, I've just never played Silent Hill, even when Silent Hill Remake 2 came out. But between the key art and the trailer for Silent Hill F, it caught my eye immediately. Enough so that I pre-ordered it and played it day one. And I didn't just play it once. I didn't even play it twice. I played this game 3 times over. And I'm here to talk about a game that, upon release, received mixed reactions. Critics have it at a pretty good 85, 86 on Metacritic, but audience scores are very mixed. Check out this review. Quote, "This game was so unbelievably terrible that it caused me physical pain. Terrible experience with a plot so bad that it brought tears to my eyes. I've never played a game so bad." 10 out of 10. Amazing game. Story was gritty and inspired, and honestly the best part of the game. Definitely one of the best narrative-driven games I've played. So why is this such a divisive game? Well, after all my playthroughs and all the time I spent in this game, I think I'll be able to whittle down every aspect of this game in a well put together review. Let's go. Silent Hill F to me is if Nier Automata and the first 2 levels of Resident Evil 4 original had a baby. Yeah, I have reasons for this weird mix-up, but in my opinion, the story of Silent Hill F, kind of like Nier Automata, your trust levels for the story, like the foundation that you're standing on so you can consciously stand your ground and know what's going on, is always extremely shaky. You will never reach a neutral state of your trust levels. Silent Hill F's story is geniusly put together, and I don't use that word lightly. I always thought like I was just about to grasp the concept of Silent Hill F's story. Like I was just turning the corner, and what I would see is the complete outline of what I should be getting through the story, what the story's message is. But every time I would round that corner, there would just be another long hallway with a blurred image at the end, and I always felt like that was the entire game. Just about to grasp what the overall story is about. Just about to grasp what every character represents and who they are and what's really going on here. I won't spoil anything for the story, but I will say, playing through it 3 times, I've got the bad, good, and true ending. I now really get the story. But on first playthrough, it was amazing. A story that actually treats its audience as full-grown adults. Adamantly decides to not show you exactly what you're supposed to get through the story, but instead focuses on the story being told through metaphors, subtext, through the environment, and lines that are meant to be read in between major plot points. The story is so good, and I just can't spoil. I won't spoil it here, but there's so much to be talked about. It's a shame that this isn't the main talking divisive point about the game. Most people would agree the story is pretty good, but that's not what people are talking about. They're talking about combat. And I personally think that I've cracked the code on why it's so divisive. And the reason why I personally like it, I'll tell you here. Every single horror game I've played, you can easily divide into 2 groups. Games where you can fight against your opposition, fight against the forces of evil or whatever you're fighting, and games where you can slow them down. Games where you can hide from them. Games where you're not meant to ever kill the killer until maybe the end or something, but Silent Hill F to me is a perfect blend of both of those genres. Hinako is a teenage Japanese girl. She wields no firearms. There's no pistol here, there's no mystery magnum to find. She wields pipe, a baseball bat, an axe if you're lucky, pure up melee weapons. That's it. And she's not very fluid with them at all. no way I connect with the house! Okay, thank God. And for the divisiveness part of this game, I don't think people who say that this game sucks for combat are wrong. I think they're correct in everything they say. This game's combat is clunky. Extremely. This game's combat is slow. It at times can be very hard. Even Souls-like, perhaps. Oh my God, how's that fair? I'm on. Enemies will take huge chunks of health out of you, seemingly in unfair scenarios. Missing just one charged attack isn't a oopsie I missed, it's a I'm fucked, restart your save. I think they're all correct, but my take on Silent Hill F's combat is a super interesting one because I loved it. To me, there's a certain ebb and flow, there's a certain wavelength to Silent Hill F's combat that you can kind of lock into. Playing through the game, I had multiple fights where I kind of really locked into what I think the game was going for combat. It was quite literally like a light switch, like a light bulb moment. Where I thought, oh, okay, so this is how combat works. And that light bulb moment for me turns the game's combat from it's me versus these monsters to I'm the monster and all y'all are fucked. Wow, that was a wild no look behind the back dodge. And from that point on, I had so much fun with the combat in this game. I really found that, quote, beauty in horror, which is the tagline for Silent Hill F. And Silent Hill F's combat is so interesting to me because I really liked it, but I can 100% agree with people who really dislike it. If you don't click it, like if you don't find that wavelength and you find your in the zone moment and you get the combat, if you don't get it, sure, I agree, it's clunky, it's ass. And you're probably left with a question of thinking, is this a game where I can fight against the enemies or can I not? Like, what am I going for here? Skadoosh! How are you not stunned, dog? Skadoosh! Boom! Now let's stay on combat because there's a lot of mechanics here that I think really helps refresh this game up. It is a melee focused game, but there's a lot of mechanics. There's such thing as a focus bar. And honestly, you could just call this your mana bar. Yeah, you have mana for your melee weapons. Hold down focus until your bar completes a complete circle and you can unleash a powerful attack. But this is a finite resource. You have to spend faith points or consume items to regain this focus bar. So you can't just be using it willy-nilly. Of course, you have your health bar, you have your stamina bar, in which I think the stamina bar, by the way, is very unforgiving, but there's a ton of micro gameplay. If you can master your stamina bar in this game, you really can lock into combat. Different weapons, huge in this game. Honestly, huge for replay value. You have smaller, higher damaging weapons like the knife or the sickle, medium weapons like the baseball bat, or heavy weapons like the steel pipe, the axe, or the sledgehammer. All of these play completely different in combat due to your range styles. The micro gameplay here in combat is extremely important. If it seems like the difference between an axe and a crowbar isn't that much, it actually is. And weapons do break in this game. And honestly, I always have the exact same thoughts on weapon break systems. I do not like them, unless you have a way to repair them. Do you have a way to repair them in this game? You do. Yeah, so it's completely fine here. Like, if you have a favorite weapon, like you love the axe, like I did, you can just keep the axe the entire way through and just keep repairing it and dump every other weapon. Omamores. These also refresh gameplay quite a bit. These are gameplay modifiers, and honestly, these kind of change up gameplay quite a bit. My personal #1 favorite out of all 40 of these in the game is after a perfect dodge, you can instantly attack with a heavy attack that will deplete your entire stamina bar, but it's a huge heavy attack. Loved it. I permanently had this one on. But probably the coolest thing about combat is visually, and this kind of leads into my presentation category, the hit stop mechanic. Oh fuck, it's like a baseball swing. Using a charged up focus shot, which you'll be doing a lot of, you hit the enemy and your frame stops for like quite a long time in game, but it's extremely satisfying in my opinion, especially when you can hit 2 enemies at once or even 3 enemies at once and you get 3 hit stops. It is golden. Oh, the 3-for-1, no way. So fully transitioning into the presentation category here, I think the presentation for Silent Hill F is fantastic. Everything comes together in the cutscenes in this game, the visual design, the voice acting, the sound effects, the OST music track. Cutscenes in this game are just absolutely eye-catching. Oh my god, how would the bridge do that? Enemy design is diverse and disturbing. The lighting in this game is something that caught my eye. The design of the town you're in here, Ebisagoka, is actually based off of a real town in Japan, Kanyama Ghetto. A town the dev team picked and scoped out for research purposes. A town chosen for the, quote, labyrinth design of streets. The soundtrack in this game is good. Now, I think the credit theme is the best one in the game. I just personally love guitar. And everything else, pretty good. Cutscenes have memorable soundtracks, but there's something missing. And I think what's missing is in the Hokuras is where you can save the game. Why isn't there a save theme? If there was a theme there that was like catchy and memorable, something that I could put on a playlist, that would really bump up this game's musical score for me, but it's above average, I'd say. The menu in this game is fantastic. The map is like scratchy hand-drawn, and it keeps updating with more scratchy hand-drawn areas, which doubles into the fact that the journal in this game is one of the main things you'll get interesting story aspects from Hinako's journal. And the way it's designed follows the same rule as the map, where it's like hand-drawn kind of in a journal. Fantastic. Voice acting is an interesting one here. I have an interesting point. I think it's really good. I listened to the Japanese original version. Really good, but what was really good for me was something that gets overlooked, I think. You know, when people say voice acting, they typically mean voice dialogue, but voice acting also includes things like grunts and getting hit by an enemy and hearing your pain. The voice actor did a fabulous job in this game. You're always melee focused in this game, so you're hitting enemies. The sound of a teenage Japanese girl swinging this axe around was extremely well done. Props to the Japanese voice actor who, on an interview, said, quote, "This game affected my own sanity." Yeah, she did a good job here. So, my overall impact, the overall opinion of myself on this game is, I think this is a great game. I don't think that this is a 10 out of 10 masterpiece to get on your knees and beg your friends to play for it. The more interesting thing to me is the fact that I want people to play this game to conjure up conversations about it. I think that Silent Hill F is such a breeding ground for such good back and forth conversations, whether you liked or disliked the combat, why you liked or disliked the combat, the story aspects. Like, the interesting thing about Silent Hill F is if I had a friend who played through this, we wouldn't be talking about what do you think of the fox guy. We would be asking each other, who do you think the fox guy represents? And there are many things that I haven't even mentioned, such as puzzles. I don't even know why I didn't mention this yet, but there are tons of puzzles in this game, and they're fantastic. I think puzzles hit a very good mark. Heavens split down from earth, asunder the tree. That's gotta be it right there. Nice. Yes. And here's something I'm gonna split on. Multiple endings. I generally, I'm okay with multiple endings in games, but in Silent Hill F, you literally have to play this game multiple times over to get the good and true ending. Again, this is kind of like Nier Automata, but I think Nier Automata did it in a much better way due to the fact that it is done in a more linear fashion. Here, you just straight up restart the game. Like, you are locked into the bad ending on your first playthrough. And on the second playthrough, you get the good ending. And on the third playthrough is where you get the true ending. And in my opinion, these are very, very important. If you had a room of 99 people, 33 played it once, 33 played it twice, and 33 played it 3 times, I guarantee you could identify, just based on what they think of the story concepts and everything, what their thoughts are, you could easily divide people into, you played once, you played twice, you played 3 times. That is how impactful the different endings and different playthroughs are. With that being said, I think there needs to be a little more incentive to play through an extra time or two. There are tons of new notes to find and tons of new cutscenes that the game actually does a good job at warning you, hey, I know you're playing again and you're going to skip this, but this is actually a warning. This is a new cutscene, because otherwise I'm just skipping the cutscenes to get to the new ending. You can find a Easter egg samurai sword. I don't think that's a spoiler, but I think there should have been something extra to help the new game plus. Like, I had fun with it, but I wish there was a new costume or something. Like, I know there's like a bunny costume if you pay for Digital Deluxe. I'm doing that. You do have an alternate outfit, but it's just quite literally white or navy blue. That's kind of ass, in my opinion. There was a cut concept costume for Hinako here, like a gym outfit. Why wasn't that in the game? I wish there was like 3 or 4 outfits. I also think that the best boss fight in the entire game is locked to the true ending, so the 3rd time you play through. And even though I enjoy this, I can personally say I just generally think that this just divides people into people who like the game but don't want to play through it an entirely another time or an entirely 3rd time to get the true ending, so they just miss out. They'll just watch YouTube and don't realize they're missing on cutscenes in between that and notes and so much context. And my last and final point here is that this is a horror game. A horror game. It pulls no punches. It is the first Silent Hill game that got an 18+ rating in Japan. Trust me when I say that, listen, horror movies, I generally laugh at. But for Silent Hill F, this game literally had me gripping my chair in certain moments. Like, I guarantee you, I can't put any of this on screen for spoiler reviews and for the fact that YouTube will definitely take this video down. We're just going on knowing Silent Hill F pulls no punches when it comes to horror. I don't even know how you live after that. Closing statement. Silent Hill F. It's not gonna win Game of the Year. It's not a game that makes me immediately run to my friend and say, you gotta play this. But very weirdly, it's a game that I think everyone who owns a modern console should play. It's a game that I really think can conjure up a ton of conversation about, for good or for bad. I personally loved my time with this game. It sucks that I've like completely done it. My hope for the future is that Silent Hill F in the coming years will be looked back on that upon release it was unheralded to audience scores, and that it's a game that will only be celebrated years after release. But for now, in the present time, I'm giving Silent Hill F a 9.0 out of 10. So that's it. Silent Hill F is officially shelved. I would love to hear any discussion on what your opinion on Silent Hill F was, good or bad. For now, I have a ton of horror games lined up. It is like, I haven't played a horror game in a long time, and now I have like 5 or 6 in a row. This is October Horror Month, guys. For now, I'm your host, Beneath the Mask, and I hope you enjoyed this review. Peace out.
Do I need to fight you? I do not need to fight you. Motherfucker.
Dude, what is with that? Haha! The X button! X button! X button! Jesus fucking Christ. She was so gassed I couldn't even hit the X button. I know you're here to find out the Easter egg soundtrack that I put in at the end of every video, but did you know that I have a Buy Me a Coffee page? A page where you can donate to your favorite YouTube creator. Half of the money that's donated to that page is personally donated back to Child's Play Charity, a charity that's dedicated to supplying games and technology to children in hospitals around the world. So that's that. Did you guess the soundtrack?